I can't hear you.
There you go. What happened was I had the YouTube link for the show on one of my tabs, and I was hearing a repeat because of the song playing, and I thought my mic was mic was on. So I muted myself and I forgot to take it off. So, you know, a little behind the scenes. Yeah, no, yeah. It was I did one show. It was back when I was doing Blog Talk. and I did like the first 20 minutes of it. It was on mute. It was like one of the shows where I did by myself. I looked at the chat. We can't hear you. I'm like, oh shit. So, anyways, welcome to the Freakin Awesome Paranormal Show. This is Ryan.
And I'm Rhonda.
And I want to wish you guys a very happy National Ice Cream Day. So, yeah, that's
ice cream.
That is a holiday I can get behind.
Yep, especially in July.
Oh, I don't know, because eating ice cream in the summertime just makes a big mess, especially outside.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And if you eat it outside, then you also run that risk of getting sick.
Yeah.
It's like it
curls
your stomach or something.
Yeah, especially in the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Although, it's cool seeing the big ice cream, like the cones with the like 3 or 4 like scoops of ice cream on top of it. Yeah. I mean, it's fun to look at, but I don't think I'd really want. After like a few bites of ice cream, I'm usually done.
Me too.
With it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of heavy.
Yeah, not like I used to when I was a kid. I could eat ice cream all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
You get older and your body's like, no, sorry, buddy.
The lactose intolerance starts.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe I'll have to make an exception on National Ice Cream Day.
I like a good sherbet.
I love a good sherbet, good rainbow sherbet.
Yeah, yeah.
Throw it out to the fans watching the show. Are you a sherbet? Was frozen yogurt, ice cream, or custard?
Ooh,
that's a. Ooh. These are the kind of hard-hitting questions we ask here in the Freakin Awesome Paranormal Show. People are like, I thought we were talking about Scared Network. No, we're talking about ice cream tonight.
Yes, all the above.
I remember Rihanna. I used to go take her to Sweet Frog. No, it was called Crave. It was a yogurt place across, like next to Target, across from Virginia Center Commons. Virginia Center Commons. I sounded really drunk when I said that. Virginia Center Commons. And it was summertime, and she wore like a sweatshirt and like short shorts, right? And she would get the heaviest stuff to put on an ice cream, like a frozen yogurt, for a 90-degree day, like chocolate syrup, marshmallows, and like I'm like, how do you do it? She's like, it's good. And an hour later, she's in the bathroom for like 30 minutes.
Yep.
That's about what happens. It is also, of course, I don't have to tell you this, and I think the whole world realizes that today is Invite an Alien to Live with You Day.
Well, I mean, live with me or go with them. I'm not sure which I'd pick.
I mean, if it's go with the government. Yeah.
No, go with the alien, or they just live with me.
I wonder if Alf landed on invites an alien to live with you day, because if he didn't, the Tanners wouldn't have to invite him. They're like, it's not the right day. Come back in a month. We'll let you live with us. So if you're ever going to invite, what kind of alien would you pick? I'd pick Alf.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I wouldn't have any cats though. I'd have to go. I wouldn't. We can't have cats if Alf lives with you.
Right.
Maybe E.T. or
maybe
Mork.
E.T. He's kind of cute.
Mork would be pretty fun to live with, I guess.
Yeah.
For Mork and Mindy. But not the alien from Aliens. I would not want that. It's just too much. Too much pressure, too much trouble. Or Predator.
No.
Would you really want Predator living with you? No. So for me, it's Alf or E.T. or maybe Mac and Me.
I don't remember that one.
There's a movie called I've never seen it, but I know there's a movie called Mac and Me. Came out in the 80s. But I never saw it. It was like a ghetto version of E.T. A Dollar General version of E.T. Oh man, so today. I know it's Sunday, right?
It is.
And I feel
Sunday.
bad about doing this on a Sunday, but it's
you
time.
know, people want it.
Yeah, I mean, we are expanding their knowledge.
Yes.
And we are getting close to school starting, so I want to tell you all the kids, because you know we're big with the kids. The kids love us. Don't talk like this in school, kids. All right, I'm at work, so I'm gonna have to have. Thank you, Kenny.
Hi,
I'm
Kenny.
glad we can entertain you on National Invited Alien to Live with You Day. Hope you're enjoying our ice cream too. So, guys, put the earmuffs on. You want to send your kids out of the room, which is understandable. Go ahead and do that. We'll wait a minute for you to take care of that. Are they gone? Good. All right. So, the word of the day is sard.
Sard.
Sard. It's English, so it's sod. It's spelled S-A-R-D.
Sard.
Sard, which is the old English version of the F-bomb.
Really?
You hear someone
that
say
is not
sod
where
off.
I was going to go with that, because I just was thinking more of the a-hole line, not the F-U line.
Have you ever heard a person in England say sod off, or something like that? Sod off.
No.
It's like fuck off.
Huh.
But fancier because it's English. So if you want to sound fancy and cut someone out, call him a sard head. Mother Sarder. And just makes you sound smart when you say it like that. You mother Sarder.
Like own it with authority.
Yeah. You've got you don't mean that. Mean that crap. Mean that shit. I have myself convinced that kids are watching this show right now, so I'm trying to edit myself.
It might be. The good thing is I'll probably go to school tomorrow, or when they go, and they'll use the word sard, and nobody will know.
Nope, and they'll be oblivious. We're teaching kids how to cuss, and then
like you did back in the old days. It's a history lesson.
Yes. I mean, we are just educating the masses here on the Freakin Awesome Paranormal Show.
That's right.
So, are the cards going to speak to us tonight?
The cards are right here. Let's see. We're using the Halloween Oracle deck.
I've got to put the meaning of the card last week on the page.
That's okay. We got a new one. Let's shuffle it a few times and see.
Was that the Nightbird that came out last time?
No, what was it? I don't even remember. Gosh. The Nightbird was the one before.
Oh.
The Mummy.
If you want to know.
The Mummy came out. The Mummy came out last time.
That's right.
It was the Mummy.
All right. My
Let's see what the cards say for the collective this week. We've got skeleton for strength.
Nice.
So, interesting. I would say for this card, for me, it feels like sometimes when you feel like you don't have what it needs to stand up every day and get through the day and get through the week and what's coming your way, remember that you are strong. Your bones are strong. You were meant to stand, and you were meant to be tall, and you were meant to keep going. So I feel like at this point, it's one of those remember who you are kind of things when things are tough this week. We're all going to face it. Every day is an uphill battle, and some days it's a coast through day. So just remember who you are, and then remember you are meant to be here and meant to be strong. That's what I'm saying for today.
You've got a good structure inside of you. You're focused.
Yep.
You're strong. Your bones are strong.
That's right. That's right.
That's a good way to keep the people focused until Tuesday.
Until Tuesday.
We give them another card.
Just be strong till Tuesday. Then we'll see what happens then.
You know what? Tomorrow's Monday, so I think
they can do it.
Are going to need
everyone. They can do it.
Yeah, everyone needs a good pick me up on a Monday.
Yeah, yeah. Mondays are rough. How about this? Mondays are
Yeah.
rough, but you've got a, you know, you've got a tough inner core that's going to get you through it.
Oh yeah, you do. And then it'll just you got to have to maintain until
Until
Tuesday
Tuesday.
at 9 o'clock, and
Yeah,
then we'll give you some more advice to keep you on an even playing field until we come
yep,
back on Sunday.
that's right.
Okay, so tonight we have got Billy Lewis from Scare Network TV. I met him at the Cabin on 360. He
That's
came out to,
awesome.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. He came out to do a investigation with Sean Austin and Chris Hammond and a few other people. They got some, from what I understand, they had a pretty good investigation out there, and they should be releasing their show here at some point. So looking forward to watching that. He's a great guy. He's sitting in the queue. So let's go ahead
Let's
and
bring
bring
it
him
out.
on the show. Welcome. How are you doing?
Hello.
Good to see you again.
Hey, what's up, guys? How are y'all?
Doing
Oh,
good.
man, we're just hanging in
Good.
there on National Ice Cream Day. So thank you for taking the time off to talk to us on such a big holiday.
I heard about that. And my girls eat it every day, so it's not really a holiday per se.
What's your ice cream of choice? Your go-to ice cream?
I like Oreo and just like chocolate. Yeah. So,
Cookies and cream type stuff.
Yeah, the cookies
Yeah.
and cream. Like if we go to Dairy Queen or a place like that, I'll get like the Oreo Blizzard or M&M Blizzard, something like that. So
You can't go wrong with that.
Nope.
yeah.
How about you, Rhonda?
Like I'm old school. My favorite ice cream of all time is strawberry.
Mm.
Give me strawberry ice cream.
I do love a good
I'm
strawberry
going for
ice
like a
cream.
Blizzard or Sonic Blast. I'm gonna get like Reese Cups or Heath Bar or something like that up in it.
Ben and Jerry's has got some brownie batter ice cream that is so good. It's amazing. So now that we got our ice cream players out the way, I'm sure everyone wants to know what those are. How did you get in to the paranormal? What started this journey for you?
Man, where do we start? So I've been doing filmmaking for a while. Well over. I worked in TV news back in 2001, and I did that for 5 years. So that was my real education as far as how to use a camera, how to film, how to edit, how to interview people, how to light, how to do everything that I needed to do to really do what I do now, what I've been doing over the last 20 some years. So I did that. I started my own production company after I left news and just started doing a bunch of corporate videos for companies, a lot of TV commercials, music videos, anything video related. I would do it. And then in 2008, I actually did a narrative movie. It was a horror movie that I wrote and directed called The Jailhouse, and I had C. Thomas Howell in it. If you guys are familiar, he was Pony Boy in the Outsiders movie in the 80s. He was in Red Dawn. He was in The Hitcher and a bunch of stuff. So anyways, we shot that. I live in North Carolina. We shot that here and, put that together and I signed with a distribution company and, the movie was sold around the world. And, with that being said, I did another movie a few years ago called The Terrible 2. It was about 7-8 years ago that I wrote and directed too, my second horror film. And same thing, I didn't have as big a names as that, but it was a feature film. We signed with a distributor out in Los Angeles, and they sold the movie a bunch of different places, got it on streaming services. The movie, I'm pretty sure, probably made 6 figures, did well, but I just never got paid. So anyways, the reason I tell you this is that was the motivation behind starting the streaming service of Scare Network, because I've done 2 movies that I've had investors involved, and I put my heart and soul and in these movies, and I give them away to these investors. They sell them to the buyers around the world, and they collect the money, and then they just don't pay the independent filmmakers. So anyway, so that's the motivation to start the streaming platform. And it had been in the back of my mind for a long time, thinking about starting or creating my own content and being in control of it. I just didn't know how to do it, but the technology over the last 6 to 8 years has really developed where you can do it, and you don't need a lot of money to actually start your own streaming service. You just have to have the content, to put on there. And obviously YouTube has opened up a lot of doors over the last 20 years too. But, I love YouTube, and I've been with YouTube since the beginning, but, few and far between can you actually make real money off of YouTube. It takes a lot of work and, a lot of time, and you have to be lucky, and you have to have good content too, and you have to consistently do it. So anyway, so going back to the paranormal thing, so Scare Network started that about 3.5 years ago, January of 21. So it's still fairly new. It's still a baby as far as streaming services are concerned, but it's paranormal, it's true crime, it's monster and horror content. So it's four genres. So that's really all that we have. That's all that we have on there is paranormal, true crime, monster, and horror. And by monster, UFOs, Bigfoot, Loch Ness, stuff like that. I need more of that. I need more true crime. I need more of everything. But it's a process. We're working our way up. But so how I did get started and how I came up with Scare Network is, I was watching that show, The Unexplained. This is like 5 years ago, before the pandemic. And Ryan, I know, I'm pretty sure you've met that guy, Dave Spinks, the paranormal investigator who owns the Willow's Wheat House.
Yeah, he's been on the show.
Yeah. So anyway, so they profiled his house, and I was like, man, and it was a quick segment on there. It was like a little 7 to 8 minute segment. And it was really intriguing. I was like, man, that's cool. They're calling this house the most evil house in America. And but immediately I thought, well, I could go to that house and actually write a narrative movie, which I actually did do. I went there. I've been there a couple of times, or went there a couple of times, and I actually wrote a really good narrative movie, but I haven't produced it yet. It's still, we still have it. Keep that in the back burner. But anyways, I'd never, I'd watch paranormal shows and whatnot, and I used to like not even take them that seriously. I'm like, oh man, yeah, you're really, you're chasing ghosts and you're communicating with this box and you're this and that, and I thought they were kind of funny, to be honest with you, but I didn't take them too serious. So when I did the Willow's Weep stuff, went there and got a bunch of interviews and did some investigations, and we got some pretty cool evidence that was pretty unexplainable. And I was like, that's pretty cool. So I cut a bunch of little short videos and I put them on my production company, which my production company is called Orange Street Films. I've had that for 15, 16 years now. So I put it on that YouTube channel, and I guess based off the popularity of the Willow's Wheat House being on Unexplained, those videos got a lot of views on YouTube. So I was like, man, that's pretty cool. People really like the paranormal and whatnot. So we ended up going to this house in January of 21. We ended up going to this house in Ohio, and it was me and Dave and Sean and Eric Connor, and I think I brought a guy with me to help me out with production. But we stayed there for like probably 3 days, and we got like overwhelming paranormal evidence, and it was crazy. And that was actually the first documentary that I ever produced for Scare Network. It's called Malithus, and it was Sean's experience based at that same house that had happened 5 years before we went. So he went back to kind of not retaliate, but he went back to try to stand up to these things that he felt like had been following him around for a few years and messing with him and bringing some chaos in his life. And so we went there, got a lot of validation to his story, and then he ended up doing an exorcism on the land, not the house or not any individual, but on the land, and put blessed metals around the property and said a prayer. And yeah, we documented everything, got great interviews, great evidence. And so that, and then we released that a few months after we went there, and we just got really good reviews, really good feedback on that. So that kind of motivated me to continue to grow the Scare Network and continue to shoot and produce. And I'm like, man, people are really resonating, or the stuff that we're producing is resonating with people, and people seem to enjoy it. And so, so yeah, we've been going full blast for the last 3.5 years, just trying to put out the most professional content we can. I'm kind of a perfectionist, and I'm a storyteller, so I'm not, going to locations and just, filming stuff with our cell phones and putting it up 3 days later. I want to try to tell the history of a location, if it allows, if we can find the history of a certain location, and then you get the paranormal evidence to kind of back it up. That really validates the story and really, makes things more real for people. And one of my philosophies when shooting and doing the paranormal stuff in particular is, I'm not trying to convince someone that a ghost or spirits are real. I'm just putting out the evidence and the interviews that we gather and the stuff that we get. I'm putting it out there, and people can make their own judgments and their own assertions. So, I don't care what anybody says about our stuff as far as if they want to call it fake or anything like that. So anyway, long story, but.
So what do you think it is about the paranormal that keeps people coming back?
I think it's just the unknown. There's obviously everybody is going to die, and just the fear of the unknown, and is there an afterlife? And I think that's the biggest thing. And then, like I said, at this point now, we've produced probably close to 20 feature-length documentaries just in the last 3.5 years, and we're releasing like our 5th series too. So we put out some good stuff, and we've been to some great locations, and just being able to, repeating myself, but being able to hear the history of a location, and then to get responses back or something back that validates. I think that says a lot. Like I said, when I first started this, I was very skeptical about it. And I think that was a good thing, because I'd be working with paranormal investigators, and I'm the filmmaker, I'm not a paranormal investigator. So it was good because I could bring that storytelling aspect to it, but I could actually try to take a lot of evidence out that I didn't feel like was real, or it carried the story or whatnot. So I think there was a good mix between me and that. And so, yeah, just the unknown, and, and still to this day, I'll watch, although there's not that many, seems like Discovery Channel and Travel Channel are getting rid of a lot of their shows. So there's not that many paranormal shows on mainstream TV and stuff, which I think is great for us, because there's an opportunity there to fill a little bit of a void if we can. So, yeah, I mean, telling good stories and just putting out good content and stuff. And like you mentioned, Ron, I'm super excited about the Cabin on 360, man, because we got some great stuff. You guys gave great interviews, and we got validation on a lot of your interviews, and obviously the true crime stuff that happened there too. So there's a lot there, as you know. So I'm excited to start putting that together. Yeah.
Is there any location you've been to that just, because you were the skeptic before and now you're like, okay, this is real? Is there any particular location that just stands out to you as the most like insane place you've been?
Yeah. So that's a good question. So I don't get scared at locations. I'm just going to be honest with you. I've been to some locations where really bad things have happened, and when I'm at those locations, I'm conscious of what happened there, but at the same time, I realize that I have a job to do, because if I don't get these shots called B-roll, or get these interviews, or the camera's not in focus when we're doing investigations, or you don't have good audio, then nobody else is. So I think I'm so wired in to doing what I need to do to be able to produce what I know that I'm there to do, that I don't let things affect me. And I do, I am a strong Christian too. So I do have a lot of faith. And so even if we go to really negative places, to be honest with you, it doesn't affect me. But I do tell this story a lot. So we were out in Yorktown, Texas, at the abandoned hospital. I don't know if you guys have heard of it or not. It's just called Yorktown. It's been on a lot of the bigger ghost hunting shows, and it's pretty well known. And it's this old 3-story hospital with a basement, or maybe 2-story with a basement. It's been abandoned for probably 30 years now, but it was a hospital there in Yorktown, Texas. And then the hospital shut down. And I think in the 80s, early 90s, it turned into a rehab facility. And, there's supposedly probably around 2,500 documented deaths that happened within that building. But ever since they closed it down, probably mid 90s, it's just been abandoned. It's broken windows, and but it is super spooky. So we went there, and we only had it for one night. So I think we got there. It's like 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning. We didn't stay at 8 o'clock in the morning. We probably left at 5 o'clock. But when we got there, it was me, Sean, and this other guy named Eric Connor. And it was just us three. And so they wanted to do some live streaming before we actually shot our investigations for the documentary we were producing. And so while they were doing their live streams, walking around, I was just walking around the hospital, with the camera and lights. There's no electricity there, so I'd have to walk around with, infrared cameras, and I'd have to have a light for my other cameras because it's very dark. And so that's the one place, especially going down in the basement, there's rumors of like a lovers triangle, murder suicide, where a husband came in and I guess killed his wife and the man she was having an affair with, and then he killed himself down in the basement. And it was when I was down in that basement at Yorktown. And again, you can go see this documentary on Scare Network. We put it out, gosh, probably 2 years ago now. But that's the one place where I felt like when I was actually down there, and it was freezing too. I mean, I'm talking about it's like 25 degrees. It was really cold because we were there in February. But that's the one place where I felt like somebody, when I was just shooting B-roll, minding my own business, not doing anything, not provoking, not saying anything, just shoot B-roll. I felt like someone was right over my back, just watching me or beside me the entire time. And I just kind of had to put it out of my head. It is a weird feeling. I think that's, despite it being really cold too, I had a bunch of layers on, so I wasn't that cold, but that feeling actually gave me cold chills more than the actual, coldness of the temperature itself. So yeah, that place is freaky, man.
Yeah, I've heard about that place. It's from what I've seen, that's a pretty messed up place.
Yeah, it is. We got yeah, you should, just the trailer, if you go and see our 2-minute trailer for that, it'll kind of encapsulate what we get there. I wish we could have spent kind of like cabin. Like, I wish we could have done a couple of days there versus just one day. Although at the cabin, we got more accomplished than we did at Yorktown. I felt like at Yorktown we were rushed, but at the cabin we got a lot of good stuff. So, but Yorktown, I actually brought in some other teams to be a part of the documentary who had been there several times, and they graciously gave us some of their evidence to be able to use in the documentary too. So it wasn't all of us being there in that one night.
So I know there are other like paranormal streaming networks out there. What about Scary Network sets you guys apart from like Paraflix and the other ones that are out there?
Yeah, so I think I've already kind of answered this. I think I've chosen to go quality over quantity. So I really take my time after we go and film something, and I try to be very precise, and I really try to stitch a story together that's going to A, do the location justice, B, be entertaining to the viewer, and C, try to be as cohesive as you can with a documentary. Obviously, what we've been producing, there's no script, and there's, like when you write a narrative movie, you know what you're filming scene to scene. With this, you could edit it 100 different ways. So from what I've seen, from other streaming services and whatnot, I've always prided myself. The more that I've done this, obviously, I've seen growth as a filmmaker, and I've try to be as professional as possible, especially with my content. I try for the lighting to be better. I try for the sound to be better. I keep purchasing better cameras just so the overall quality and stuff will be better. Like I said, I'm not trying to dog anyone out on any other platform. And here's the thing. I mean, you can shoot a whole thing on a cell phone and stuff, and it'd be really good if you have a good story, you get good evidence and whatnot. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's really about the story. So that's really what I try to focus on and whatnot. And I'm still growing, and I wish I could do more reenactments for my thing. I'm just not in the position to do that financially yet. Especially again, I keep using cabin, but the stuff that obviously happened back in the late 70s in that house beside cabin. I mean, man, we could just do great reenactment. I mean, that sounds really morbid. I mean that all due respect for what happened, but you know what I'm saying. So but that's the one thing that with a lot of my docs that I wish I had the ability to do, because I could we could, because again, like I've made narrative horror movies and stuff, so I know how to get that stuff done. But you obviously, it's catch-22. You have to have the financial resource to do that, and it takes more time, and so it would delay the project a little bit more. And I still try to get stuff out in a timely fashion. So
your network covers the paranormal, true crime, and like you said, the horror. So you've got like a gambit there. What were you surprised? Is there anything that surprised you when you got into the paranormal part of things that you weren't expecting?
As far as what do you mean?
I mean, it just was like, is there anything more difficult about it that you weren't expecting when you went into it, or?
No, I mean, because after doing the first couple documentaries that we did, I kind of set like a flow, or I guess I kind of built a template of how I kind of wanted to do things with shooting these stories. Obviously each location and each story is different, but I've tried to stay true with getting good interviews and getting good B-roll, good professional B-roll, including drone shots and other stuff like that really just kind of amps up the level of production. Even if I don't have a lot of money to produce these things, I can still use the skills that I've developed over the years. But I love the paranormal stuff. I've noticed the more that I'm involved in it, the more I'm around it and meeting people and stuff, there's a lot of drama in it too. And it's just so unnecessary. It's just like, can't we all get along? I know, just go out and do good work and put your story out there and don't worry about what anybody else is doing. I learned that a long time ago, in my 20s and stuff. I would, lack of better terms, I wanted to make movies so bad, and I was just like, man, like, and then a big blockbuster would come out, and a blockbuster movie, mainstream movie would come out, and maybe it's somebody my age or a little bit younger, and I'm like, man, why has this guy got a movie and it's making millions of dollars and I can't even catch a break? And so anyway, I had to redirect my energy and change my way of thinking a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? And just develop the philosophy of, everybody has their own path, and you just keep doing good work and just keep working, God willing, and let your work speak for itself. That's why, I mean, everything you do as a filmmaker, when you put it out there, is going to get criticized. You can make the best movie in the world, and you may get 999 positive comments, but there's going to be one person that's going to come in and just rip it apart and critique it and stuff. And so that comes with the territory. So I don't pay attention to that. I just do and use the talents I feel like God has given me, and I just do the best job I can. And if that's not good enough for others, then that doesn't affect me. I'm still going to keep pushing forward and doing what I do.
I mean, you kind of have to, because I mean,
Yeah.
that's where so many teams don't even put evidence out on their websites and things anymore, because they just know it's going to be criticized and argued, and it's just not even worth the battle to do it anymore.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it really depends on the individual person and the investigators' intent and what they want to get out of what they're trying to do. I'm not doing what I do. I'm not trying to get filthy rich. I'm certainly not trying to be famous. I'm doing what I do because I truly feel like that's what God put me on this earth to do. And I've never made a lot of money doing what I'm doing, but I've always, I've stayed true to myself, and I've kind of followed the path that I truly feel like in my heart I was put here to do, and all the other stuff has always been taken care of. It's not been an easy road, and even now, just trying to grow this platform is very, very difficult. It's very difficult. I wish I had more money to do marketing because people love what we put out, but not a lot of people know about it. And that's just strictly because of, lack of funds for marketing and stuff. But yeah, as far as paranormal investigators and putting their evidence and stuff out, just stay real and put it out. Don't try to fake anything and just put it out there. And who cares what anybody else says? At least you're putting something out there.
Right.
How does one become a member? Well, not like a paying member, but how does one get their content on your network, as far as investigators, or even if you have a movie or something?
Yeah, we get a lot of emails about putting content on there, and I've picked up quite a bit, because obviously, starting a platform is a monumental task, man. It's not like you're just producing one movie and putting it out there. You've got to constantly keep putting stuff out there. So I've picked up quite a few. Pretty much just send an email to info@scarenetwork.tv, and show me what you have, and again, I like the professionalism of productions, and I want to set a standard, and not saying that everything that we have on the platform is great by any stretch of the imagination, but I want to try to keep to that standard the best I can, as we continue to grow too. So, and it's really cool, man. We've partnered up with several distributors out in Los Angeles who represent a lot of horror films and other stuff. And so, it's true crime and other stuff in our genre that we, and so, and those movies obviously aren't exclusive to Scare Network. You can find them on other streaming platforms too, but it's cool to get some of those movies on our platform that I've seen on bigger platforms. It's really cool to kind of work those deals out. There's one horror film that we have on there. It's called The Taking of Deborah Logan, and it's awesome. It was the horror film is about 10 years old now, but the director that did it has done big movies now. He's done Insidious and that started out as an independent film. Yeah, and so I've partnered up with the company that represents that. They're called Terror Films, and they keep sending me awesome films, and I just keep putting them up on the platform.
Is that Suicide
Club?
movie?
That's some Terror Films.
Terror Films, yeah.
Yeah.
That looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, they've got some good movies. They got one, Island of the Dolls, which I'm sure you guys have heard of in Mexico.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of narrative movies done about Island of the dolls, and I got one of them on there, and I released it. I think the movie's been out for a while, but they just gave it to me probably like a month ago, and I just released it a couple of weeks ago. But I've got the all the Hell House LLC movies. They're a big franchise horror movie. I don't have the fourth one that just came out about 6 months ago, but yeah, see, Kenny's seen Deborah Logan. He knows what we're talking about.
He knows what's up.
Yeah, I've seen that too. That intense is an understatement.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's about this woman with Alzheimer's. That's a scary horror film.
It is.
Yeah. So anyway, so there's a lot more on the Scare Network than just the paranormal stuff and one. I need more and we're doing it, man. We got a lot in the can. It just takes a lot of time to produce these originals. But I think our originals that we put out are well worth. I mean, our platform is only $4.99 a month. But the movies like Taking Deborah Logan and other stuff like that, you can actually watch free with that. So our original stuff you have to is part of the subscription. But if you subscribe, you can watch all of it free with that or without ads. So anyways.
So when you get content, how is there like a method to how you release stuff? Do you wait to release stuff? Do you put stuff out? I mean, how do you go about releasing?
No, not right now. I mean, because there's no method to put it out. It's not like, again, I keep harping on it. It's not like I have this huge marketing budget to really push stuff. I wish I did. So, we get it. And then I kind of tell the filmmaker when we're going to release it, or the person that produced it when we're going to release it. And I'll post it all on social media, and then hoping they'll post it on social media, and just hoping we can get some eyes on it over there. So it's just another, even Paranormal Investigator, if they bring stuff over there, it's not like they're going to get rich by throwing anything on there at this point. But, I just want to keep growing because I love being able to give others opportunities too, man. And I would love nothing more than and I'd love nothing more than to keep producing original stuff and bring in other people to go and film it. I don't want to have to film everything. You know what I'm saying? So
there's something about being on a streaming network as opposed to being on YouTube that feels more authentic, real,
Well, you're right. We've had so many people on that they've been trying to do the YouTube. Some really good people that have their heart in the right place. And it's like between all the editing and everything you do, and then you get not enough and nobody's seeing it.
You get 95 views and you worked on it for 2 months. It's very disheartening. I can relate. That's one of the things that we're struggling with is our daily traffic over on the platform. Like, I just need more users on it every day. And again, that comes with marketing too. I keep saying that, but that's the truth. And so, like I was saying earlier, I just have to tame my frustrations a lot and realize and stay on the path I'm on, because I know what we're doing with the platform is a really good thing. It's just going to take longer to kind of take off than what I had anticipated. So, all I can do is keep working hard and be patient and just keep putting out good content. And that's the best, us putting our original stuff out there, you can't find it anywhere else. So that's the greatest thing about creating original content is, if people really want to see it, the only place, they have to come to Scare Network. And by the way, we do, if you just on your web browser, just type in scarenetwork.tv, we have apps on Roku, on Apple iOS, on Fire Stick, on Android TV, our Apple TV app's about to come out in the next couple of weeks. And we still, obviously with something like this, there's always going to be some kinks from a technology standpoint. So we still have some kinks that we're working out. And I really appreciate people who have given it a chance, their patience and those who've supported us, man, I'm like super appreciative, for, and they see the potential in what we're doing.
Well, sometimes that grassroots effort to get things out is not a bad thing. You draw in the right people and they're spreading the word and you end up where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. And we've been working, obviously Ron, I do a lot of stuff with Sean, but I've done 2 series now with Shane Pittman too, who was on that Netflix show, the 28 Days Haunted, and he
Mhm.
was on Hold Your Files for a couple things. And I've just released 2 episodes of a new series we did in Bristol, Tennessee called the Ura Shrine, about this crazy location there, and that's going to be a 6-parter. So you know, I'm want to work with some good investigators whose hearts are in the right place and they have good intentions. So yeah.
We just know we know some good investigators here in Virginia too.
Mhm.
We do.
Yeah, and you know, Rhonda has got a pretty good location called Bell Grove that her and her group go investigate all the time. They get a lot of good stuff out there.
Where's that at?
Port Conway, Virginia. It is James Madison's birthplace.
Okay. Where's that in relation to Richmond?
An hour northeast.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question because you're in North Carolina, and I
Mhm.
don't know a lot about haunted locations in North Carolina.
There's a ton. I mean, you know, I mean, think about Virginia's history. North Carolina's right there too.
Yeah.
Where I live down in Wilmington, you got, you know, Fort Fisher, which is a big Civil War battleground. You got, uh, if you just Google haunted Wilmington, North Carolina, I mean, it's got a long history too. This was a port. It's called the Port City. This was a big port during the Civil War. So, not just Civil War, but other stuff, Revolutionary War, and some, you know, other things. So there's a lot down here, but there's a lot everywhere.
Virginia.
You know, everywhere you go to, and that honestly, when I first started Scare Network, and I don't think about it too much often anymore, but when I first started it, I said every town in America has a ghost story, and think about that. Think about how many towns are in America. So if I can capture half of those or a quarter of those, then we will have so much
Yeah.
content to put out there. So that was kind of my philosophy, and it's still the same. I mean, you know, Sean comes to me every other day with a new lead on a location. I'm like, dude, like I wish we had the time, effort, money, and resources to go do it. If so, I'd have 5,000 originals on the Scare Network right now.
That's good. That content will never stop because
Yeah.
everyone dies eventually.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's
We all become
that like
ghosts.
you kind of hit on it, Billy. You were talking about earlier, just like how Sean cleared the land. Between what happens on the land, then the true crime aspect of every area, like it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it is. I mean, even the little small town where I'm from, which is like an hour from Wilmington, is it's called Clinton, North Carolina. There's a old, and I didn't even know this. There's an old house there that was profiled on some ghost show. I can't even remember. It's like 10 years. It was on air for a few years, but they went there and did a whole episode on that. And I'd never even heard of that place and grew up there. And so I heard about it after the fact. But yeah, I mean, think about it. Think about the amount of people who've walked this earth, and
Yeah.
there's death everywhere you turn around, you know. So that doesn't necessarily mean that everything's haunted or you can get a good story about it, but there are so many locations and so many things that I see that I know that I want to go and profile and do stories on. With that being said, too, man, I wish I had the capabilities to hire other professional filmmaker teams to go out and work with investigators stuff too. So yeah, I mean, it's exciting to know what we can be. I just have to keep working hard and keep pushing forward every day.
So what is that location, that your pie in the sky location, somewhere that you just hope you get there?
Oh, I don't think I have one. I mean, because you know, so many of the well-known locations have been done so many times, and not that that really matters. That doesn't matter to me at all, because I'm gonna go in and put my own twist on it, and get what I get with whoever I happen to go with as far as paranormal investigators and stuff. And our story is going to be unique to why we were there. So I don't care about that. What I do really like is, for example, we did this abandoned castle up in New York, upstate New York, is in Auburn, New York. We shot it a year ago, and it was me and Sean and Eric and my wife Molly went, and a few others. And the story was that this castle was built in the 1870s, and by this guy from Scotland who came over, and he's running the local mill, and so he wanted a castle like they have over in Scotland, so he built it there. And shortly after, his wife died, and then shortly after that he died, and several of his children died there. And so anyways, over the years it's been passed down and passed along, and then it's kind of deteriorated. So it's got some new owners, and they really want to fix this thing up and bring it back to life. But I'm like, man, it's going to take probably over $1 million to get this thing up and running, if not more. But anyways, the reason they allowed us to go in there, and we spent 2 days in there, and it's called the Demon Castle, and you can see it on it's a 2-part series. That's how much stuff we got in 2 days. It's 2 parts, and they're both name. Yeah, they're both an hour and a half, and they are really good, man. I'm telling you, the evidence and stuff is just, it's hard to digest all the evidence that we got that we were able to lay out in the documentaries. But the reason the owners allowed us to go in there is because apparently someone over the last couple of years, before they put a security system in there, had broken in, and they had seen evidence of all these different rituals going on, and writings on the ground, and some really disturbing things. So what we assessed, and this, at the end of this, Sean did the same thing he did at that other house, Malefus. He did blessed metals, because they really wanted the land and the house clean. Again, whether that actually cleans it or not, who knows? But we did it, or Sean did it anyways, and we got on camera and stuff. But the couple of days we were there, man, there was definitely something invited into that location that was not nice and was not friendly, and it showed itself a lot to us. So anyways, the reason that I tell you about that one is because that's a location that I think only one other team had gone there and done, and they'd done some little blip on YouTube, and nothing, certainly nothing as professional as what we did. So I like those locations better, those more lesser known locations, than like the Queen Mary or whatever out in California, or other really, really well, not saying that I wouldn't do those at all, because I definitely would, but I like the lesser known locations like that. Especially ones that have good stories, and we got all the history and stuff behind that too. So, that those like that are awesome to go and profile and to film.
There are a lot more of those out there than the bigger ones, and they're a lot easier to get access to, because the people they want the exposure.
Yeah,
and not does it cost an arm and a leg to try and investigate out there.
Yeah, and I guess there's some drama going on with the Conjuring House. I've never even been there. I had wanted to go there, but again, that so many people have done that. I don't know that I even want to do that, to be honest with you. It's been done so many times now.
What's so hard is there's so many locations, and I don't know if you guys run into this, but we do. We did a location in Fredericksburg, Virginia last night, but there's so many places that don't want to let you in because they don't want to be known as haunted. Like where there's rich history, they can make money to help things. They don't want to let you in because they don't want to be labeled.
No, we do. That really depends on what that certain location, what their intentions are, and what they want to do with that location in the long run. So we try to be really respectful, and we don't push a location to hey, come in and we'll make this location famous. I mean, I'm not making those guarantees. I don't know what other people associated are
Yeah.
saying, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I have no hidden agendas when I go to locations. I just want to go there and I want to tell good stories and try to get good evidence and try to put together a good entertaining story that hopefully will do the location justice depending on what we get, So there's another place that we went to called Old Park Hotel out in Ballinger, Texas. That place, there's some. I don't know if you guys have heard of that or not, but
No.
I did a good doc out there too with this group. I work with a group that's based in Texas, and we got some really good stuff. And this is one of the first times someone actually really got scratched while I was like right by them. This woman, she got scratched all the way down her neck, and I kept filming it. And as I was filming it, the scratch kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so that was really the first time that I had seen somebody physically get scratched like that while I was around,
I mean, I would say that's awesome, but she got scratched. So awesome that you caught it.
Yeah.
Not awesome for her because she got scratched, but
she was mad. She went back and cussed the spirits out because she goes to that location all the time. So
well, I'm glad she had a camera on her. So
we had
content.
We had a bunch of cameras, and that documentary is called Old Park too. You can see that on the platform. That one, man, some crazy stuff happened. We took a picture that night. It was 5 of us, and we took a picture, and me and the guy on the end, like half of our body was missing, but everybody else was. And then we took another picture, and we were all there. So there's been some crazy, unexplainable stuff that's happened. When we go to location and you hear a creak in the floor and this and that. Oh, did you hear that? I try to be very practical about things. I really do. And, I hate to use the word debunk, but I do try to do that a lot. But other stuff, you just can't. And that's, I love when that happens. Those moments happen. And especially when you're able to put those out there and show people that really happens. So, and I'm still kind of a skeptic, to be honest with you. I'm still not. With that being said, she's a believer too. Like, there's no doubt about it.
There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
I think what you're supposed to do is not believe everything you see and hear. It's the ones that come out like, I can't figure that one out. Yeah,
I tell you what I feel like is, for me, what is the most compelling evidence is an EVP, because especially, if you're in a location and it's dead silent, there's no cars driving by, and you're asking questions with a recorder, and everybody's quiet, you give some time after the questions, and then you play back and you start hearing voices. It's like, how do you explain where those voices came from? Right. So for me, and Ryan, I was just saying, me getting a good EVP is the most compelling evidence, in my opinion, because again, especially if you're in a complete space is 100% quiet, there's no outside noises, nothing else happened. It's like, where do those whispers come from, and where do those voices come from?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a device go off, you can.
Yeah.
There's ways to explain it away, but if you get a good EVP.
Yeah, REM pods and stuff like that. I don't even like to. Again, I'm not a paranormal investigator, but I've been around it enough that I know a lot of the tools and stuff. And REM pod stuff, I don't even put that much stock into them, to be honest with you. I mean, not saying that our investigators we work with and on investigations we've had them, but again, when I go back and edit and stuff like that, I don't put too much stock in that. And there's a couple other investigative methods too that I don't put too much stock into that other people do. EM, what is it? MF readers.
Yeah.
What is EMF readers? Yeah,
Yeah.
that spike. So I don't know.
It's good to have something backing it up.
Yeah.
If you have sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like what you were about was like when you have that go off and then you get the EVP that it's all happening at the same time. You're like, okay, it's multiple things at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's crazy because then stuff ramps up and then like if you're wherever you may be, you feel the energy in the room shift. Now, for me as a filmmaker, that's kind of hard to portray because the viewer's obviously not going to be there feeling the energy shift, and that has happened. It's been really quiet, and then something just kind of amps up, and so you try to portray that the best you can on camera when you go back and edit it and put it together, which is kind of a hard thing to do without someone being there in the moment too. So
yeah,
and SLS cameras too. I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Right.
I'll just be real. I mean, I put plenty of SLS, footage and stuff in there, and I mean,
it's good visual stuff to see.
It is.
That.
Yep.
And that helps with videos and putting content out there because people they like to see things like they.
Of course.
If you're watching something and something lights up, it gives people the sense that something's happening and they like to see it. It makes it more interesting than just sitting in the dark and looking at nothing. So
yeah, 100%.
It's good to have these tools.
Yep.
But it's even better to have, like you said, a good EVP to back up when the EMF goes off or the K2 or the REM pod goes off.
And another thing, with the spirit boxes and stuff too, I used to not put a lot of stock in those. Now, what does make me put stock in those is when you ask a direct question and you get a direct answer within seconds of asking that, and that kind of validates stuff, in my opinion. But others, my wife texted me. She's like, "House of Dragons on."
Oh well, shoot.
No, it's fine.
I mean, I know this.
We keep talking. You can stream that. That's a good thing about streaming. You watch it anytime. So yeah, I mean, what other specific question do you guys have?
The only question I had was, I know when you go to locations, you're filming.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you go to a location and you don't get anything while you're there, but you still feel the need to go back and try again? Because I know sometimes we investigated in a location last night that had never been investigated.
Mm-hmm.
And it was busy and then quiet, busy, then quiet. And so we were kind of like, well, it's never been investigated before. So what is your take on when you go, because you're filming, you're trying to create something and it doesn't necessarily work out? Would you go back, or are there just certain ones you feel like you need to go back to, or how do you know what to do with that?
Yeah, that's tough. And I have run into that because a lot of times when we go to these locations, it's not like we have, I can't stay there 2 or 3 days. It's sometimes it's one night and done. So we just, while I'm there, I try to push everyone to just keep moving and keep doing as much stuff as possible. Not trying to stir anything up, but I feel like the more we do it, the more we're gonna, hopefully get something, ask the right questions. That's why, if you're able to get, some form of history on a location, you can ask more direct questions and hopefully get more direct answers relating to the things that happen at that location. But yeah, I mean, again, like some of our docs and original stuff that we put out could have been so much better. I mean, I'm very hard on myself with stuff, so not saying that every one that we've done has been a home run. We've done some really good ones, and other ones could have been better, but we usually get something. So if not, yeah, I mean, it depends on the circumstances if we are able to go back. Like, for example, I haven't even put this doc out yet, but I don't know if you guys have heard of the Goatman's Bridge out in Texas. Yeah, so it's been profiled on some bigger shows and stuff too. We went there 2 years ago, or probably like 2.5 years ago, shot. And I never put it together, but we got a lot of stuff the one night we were there. But I felt like we needed more. So I ended up going back out there. You know, I had to fly out to Texas. So I ended up going back out there and shot again a second night and got a lot the second night too. So if I would have just put it out the first time, I felt like the doc and stuff would have been pretty mediocre, but going back the second time, and I actually have a little part-time editor that helps me out editing. He's working on that right now. And, you know, I shot that over a period of 2 years, but it's really good. If you just Google Goatman's Bridge, there's a huge urban legend about that, about what actually supposedly happened at that bridge. And then all these people go out there and do rituals in the woods and on the bridge and under the bridge and stuff. So it's pretty crazy, but yeah, I mean, that's especially for me, because, you know, when I'm going to filming places, like I'm going and I have a reason to go and do these things. So I need something to happen. So
it's amazing how legend like the Goatman Bridge can spread, and so many people want to go out and experience it.
Yeah, that legend is crazy, man. But the legend has never been proven to be fact. But there are accounts with the guy who supposedly got thrown off or hung from the bridge, and he was a real person, but they can't verify if what happened to him. And he did raise goats, but they can't verify what they say happened to him actually happened. So that's another one where I say I wish I could do recreations on stuff, because something like that, where that's something like that, if you've got just a little bit of evidence, you feel like you don't have as much evidence as you should, but you've got a great legend, urban legend, you could really highlight that urban legend and allow that to carry the story, and then throw the evidence in too. You know what I'm saying? So that's a for me, that's a way to kind of try to offset some lack of having evidence per se. So
yeah, that's true. You said the whole half the show being urban legend, and then towards the end, this is what we caught. That
place, I think Ghost Adventures went out there and something really weird happened to Zach Bagans, but I think that happens about half of his shows anyway. So that's probably not saying much.
That's true. And like you said, a lot of different towns have these legends of bridges. There's the Bunny Man Bridge in Virginia.
Yeah.
There's a bridge down near Virginia Beach that's got a legend attached to it. So
how about sorry to interrupt, but there's Sean just did a place down here in near where we live. It's like an hour away. It's this place called Heartbeat Bridge. I think that's the name of it. I didn't go and shoot away. He just went by himself. But some urban legend, woman got murdered there, whatever, 50, 60 years ago, and she supposedly haunts the place. Well, he put this video up, and they're like, "Oh, did you hear about the woman who was found there last year?" And sure enough, a woman had gotten killed out there last year. He didn't even know about it. So,
jeez. And
the guy who killed her, like, just got sentenced to prison and stuff. So, what is it with these bridges? And
yeah,
what's the deal?
It's the bridges from
bridges, I guess.
White.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too.
What?
I mean, there are so many local.
You said the Lady in White.
Yeah, there's so many descriptions of different places. The Lady in White and the bridges.
So I've been to that cemetery, Union Cemetery up in Connecticut, where Ed Warren caught that Lady in White I know there's Lady in Whites, a lot of different ones, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ed Warren catching that woman on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went out there and flew my drone out there and got a bunch of video. I actually went to Ed and Lorraine Warren's to their gravestones too, because they're buried in the cemetery, probably a mile from that cemetery. So that was a couple of years ago. But that anyway, the cemetery where he caught the lady in white, I went during the day. Well, you can't even go at night because it's police patrol and stuff. So you can go during the day, and I got footage. But it had an eerie feeling out there too, man. There's an old church beside it. But that was pretty cool, just knowing that. I think the story was Ed Warren went out there in his car for like 3 or 4 nights in a row, just sleeping in his car, filming. And I don't know if he filmed that on film or if it was VHS or what, but to catch what he caught was pretty crazy.
That's me. I'm gonna have to go check that out after we're done here.
Yeah, just Google Ed Warren Lady in White. There's footage of it on YouTube of what he caught. It's pretty crazy.
What would you say is the strangest or weirdest thing you've ever experienced on a paranormal investigation?
Man, we've had so much stuff happen. One of the craziest things is we were out in Texas and we were profiling these 2 locations, and one of them was a restaurant where the restaurant used to be a hotel, and it was supposedly kind of an underground kind of railroad escape place for slaves to escape and get out. So there were some underground tunnels or something. Anyways, I normally, when we're going and shooting stuff, I'm filming a lot, but we just went and sat down at dinner before we ever started shooting or filming at the place or investigating at that place. And there was this bottle of hot sauce, and it was on this roundabout, and the roundabout had a ledge, so the stuff just couldn't fall off. It hopped over right in front of us. It hopped over.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody touched it, over the rail and onto the table right in front of us. And I'm like, man, why was I not and I always, like, when I'm going to film place, I always keep like a GoPro in my pocket and stuff too. So I always try to keep at least a little camera with me. But I can't film every waking second.
It always happens when you're not filming.
I know. And I get so much footage. I'm sure I miss stuff too, man, because I just don't have time to go through all of our raw footage that we and Sean's good about going through and some stuff behind me and getting, catching stuff. So I'm sure I've missed a bunch of stuff too that we actually have and have caught. But I just don't have time to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. So
it's a lot to have to go through. I'm looking at, we put cameras in the cabin for 3 nights straight, and I am currently watching the videos upstairs in a loft, and it's just so mind-numbing, just looking at nothing but blackness and hoping you see something going across, and it's just like, so yeah, it's a lot of work.
So when I when we slept that night, well, we didn't go to sleep till like 4:00, but I probably 4:30. I put a camera in the main. We slept right there in the main by the fireplace. I planted a camera. It rolled for like 3 hours, but I haven't even started working on that project yet, so I haven't looked at any of that footage yet. So when we're staying at locations, I'm actually sleeping at locations, I normally plan a camera when we go to sleep, and we've caught some stuff on the planted cameras and stuff too. So, but what I do, if it's like a 3-hour clip or something, I throw it up on a timeline and I scroll through the footage and I obviously look for visual stuff, but I also look for audio waves too. So if I see an audio wave on the timeline, then I stop it and see if something happened at that particular moment. And sometimes it can be, or most times it can be unexplained, or it can be explained. Other times it's something weird that, just kind of put out there and say, hey, I don't know what this is, but this happened. So.
Well, I appreciate, it's only 10 and 15, and I know you got stuff you got to do. But I definitely appreciate you coming on and
Yes.
chatting with
No,
us
thank you.
tonight.
Thank you guys for having me. And sorry if I talk too much.
No, not
No,
at all.
never.
We
But
love people who can talk
yeah,
because we've had people who can't talk.
you
And
had the opposite.
Yeah, the
yeah,
hard
it's
one you gotta pull it out.
pulling
You're
teeth.
like,
Yeah, come on. We'll do something. We have an
Hey,
hour here.
If they're just giving you yes, no answers, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's how when I do interviews too, I'm like, yeah, I mean,
Help
you have
me
to
help
walk,
you.
you have to walk some people through it. And you basically, I have to tell some people what to say. I'm like, well, just say it like this. And
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
but yeah, so what's going on with the cabin, if you don't mind me asking anything?
We're in the process of maybe being able to purchase it. Dennis is working on it.
Good.
I haven't heard anything much about it. The way I look at it is if there's something going on with it as in not working out, I would have heard about it by now.
Yeah.
I think right now he said it's just a lot of stuff with, writing up contracts and getting lawyers involved and stuff like that. So right now I guess no news is good news.
Yeah.
As far as that's concerned. And hopefully once we get everything figured out and we're back up and running, we can have you guys come back out and do a part 2 of,
I do, man. That was an awesome
documentary.
location, and maybe we can come and spend a couple of days versus just coming for one day, because I feel like we could do a lot more. With that being said, we got some good stuff, so we'll put out what we got, and yeah, I 100% want to come back and do more, but I think it'll have to be when it's colder outside, so ain't so many mosquitoes and stuff.
There are times when we're doing public investigations where like, can we just not go outside?
And then when I went over to the other house, I don't know. I don't think it was the spirits, but I was about to pass out just from the humidity and stuff over in the other house. I was like,
between the heat and the poison ivy in the woods.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Summertime is probably the worst time to come out there.
I'm super allergic to poison ivy too, man. So I'm really glad. I'm glad that I didn't stumble across any of that. But definitely next time we come, it'll be winter time. I feel like I'm gonna be more effective that way because the heat stuff is a deterrent.
It's hard to get motivated to do anything when it's 100 degrees outside and humid.
Yeah.
It just drains your energy out. You can get warm, you can bundle up, you can face the cold, but there's only so much you can do to fight the heat and humidity.
Yeah, well, I'm pulling for you guys to keep the cabin, all that stuff, man, because I think it's a great location. Just that whole area, I was only there for a little bit, but that whole area was great.
We appreciate it, and that kind of goes back to what you're talking about earlier about these small locations that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know about the cabin or know about Belle Grove. I mean, they about James Madison. They don't realize that, hey, we can go there, investigate, and then get locked down for a night where James Madison lived. It's really cool that we're able to expose these different locations to the public. And I'm super excited for your network. I'm super excited for everything you guys have coming up.
It's everything. I think anybody who likes horror or paranormal likes true crime. So it's like the best of all the worlds.
I know. And like I said, man, like growing up, like I love Bigfoot stuff and I loved alien stuff. So I've done a little bit of cryptid stuff. Like I did a documentary on the Beast of Bladenborough. And I've done some shorter alien stuff, but man, there's so much more content that I want to do because I love the alien UFO stuff, and everyone else does too. And so, if we can keep putting all those things in the pot, man, and just keep entertaining people, then I will feel really gratified about where we're at with this platform. So, thank you guys for inquiring and being interested in it, and I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for coming on and joining us and talking about it. And hopefully we'll get you back on
Yeah, definitely.
in the
When,
future.
especially when we release the cabin
Yes.
doc,
Yeah.
it'll probably be a few months because I got some other projects in the queue in front of that. But I think that's something when I do start working on something, I can turn around pretty quickly. So yeah, Ryan, we'll definitely stay in touch,
Yeah.
man. And I'd love to come back on anytime you guys need a guest, man. Holler at me because I will come on and I will run my mouth. That's for sure.
We
We
haven't
love
talked
it.
about Bigfoot and aliens and
I know.
all that other stuff yet. So we have another whole episode up about that to talk about. So we're
Yep.
good to go.
Let's do it, man. I love all that.
Perfect.
I love all that stuff. So
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you so much. Thank
Thank
you so much for
you.
coming
yeah,
on.
thank you
And
guys.
we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you guys. Y'all have a good week.
You
All right, you
too.
too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Dude, that was awesome. I'm so
That
excited.
was awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. They got a lot of good stuff at the cabin. Excited about all the cool stuff they have on Scare Network.
I can't wait to check it out. And goodness,
Yeah, that's gonna be. And guys, it's only what $4.99.
$4.99.
Yeah, and you get to experience all these cool horror movies. I'm over here acting like I watch horror films. I do not watch horror films, but
There's your horizons, Brian. The horror
Yeah.
movies are awesome.
I watch the paranormal stuff. But yeah, I do not
No
do
different.
horror
Only
movies.
that is just made up in the head. So you're scared of the ones that people make up, but you
That's
go
not
watch
the real ones. No, the real ones I'm fine with.
thing.
I don't particularly enjoy being jump scared. So
No, some people don't like that.
that's not for me.
See me,
So
I'm like, oh, good one, maybe jump.
My mom used to make me watch these movies when I was growing up, and I'd be hiding behind the chair because I was just didn't like them. I'll be in the room, but I'm not going to be watching it. See, Teresa, she knows what's up. She's right there with me. Thank you. Solidarity, sister. Solidarity.
Absolutely.
Oh man,
I like it.
yeah, I got hit by something, man. Well, as soon as before the show started, I started feeling like really run down. And I was like,
I've
holy
had
crap.
a lot of people say that this weekend. Like you're just tired.
Yeah. I was like, I need to wake myself up. Of course, and I drink
too,
a Coke.
me
Now I'm
too.
drinking my melatonin tea. So
But no, I've heard a lot of people saying they're just run down and feeling a little
not myself.
tired and
The full moon. I thought full moon was supposed to make you crazy.
well,
full moon?
depends on who you are. But there's a lot of energy with it, and depends on which full moon it is. And it
That's true.
You know.
Well, this must be the energy sucking full moon because I'm glad you were here tonight. I'm glad you're here every night. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Oh, so Tuesday, we've got. See, that's what energy. Teresa's taking my energy. I'm at work printing and cutting and working and listening to you guys. Heck yeah, Teresa. That's what I'm talking about. At least you're
Glad
feeling
we could
energy
help.
right now. Yeah, send me some of that energy. Let's see. Tuesday we have Dark Echoes Paranormal coming on the show.
Very cool.
And then we're back again on Sunday with Scott Walter from America Unearthed.
That's awesome. I'm excited about that.
Me too. We got a full house because we're gonna have you, me, CJ, and CR.
Nice.
Coming on the
We
show.
haven't had them on in a while, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, and then Scott. We have a whole group thing going, so it's gonna be fun. What do you guys have coming up on the?
I don't know because we took tonight off, so I haven't talked to Howie to figure out who we have next week. Because I know he was doing some things up in Roanoke, so I haven't bothered him.
Guess we'll find out. It'll be a surprise.
Yeah.
It's always good to be on the edge of your seat. It's like what we call it, a teaser. So pay attention.
Something good coming next Sunday. We just tell you what it is. It's really good.
We've got two things good coming on Sunday. So
that's right.
It's a Sunday full of fun stuff coming for you.
That's right.
courtesy of the Rift Nation Network and the Freakin'
Vibe
Awesome
Network. We got it all
I
out there.
guess we still do Vibe because we don't do we
Oh, that's
don't
right. We don't do StreamYard anymore.
yeah, well we do StreamYard. We're on StreamYard right now.
That's StreamYard.
Blog Talk.
Blog Talk.
Yeah. So and Jerry kind of does her own thing. But I kind of think we're still under the Vibe umbrella.
We are.
But
We are.
We're
vibing.
Yeah. We all have different StreamYard pages and stuff, not like Rift, where it's all on one page.
Yep.
So a little behind the scenes stuff for you guys. Because I know you guys are super interested in all that stuff. So I hope you guys have a great National Ice Cream Day. Hope you guys have a great Invite an Alien to Live with You day. Don't forget, you are strong. You have a strong skeleton.
Strong till Tuesday.
You're gonna get through this Monday. I know it's sad. You're not gonna see us tomorrow. I might pop in, come in, talk, do a little video for you guys tomorrow. But
stay strong. We'll be back.
Yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday. So just focus on that. Focus on Tuesday at 9. You'll get through it. I promise you. All right. Thank you so much. We'll be back here Tuesday night, same freaking awesome time.
Same freaking awesome place.
We'll see you then, guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.